Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. One of the first things Sherrone Moore did when he got the head coaching job for this Michigan program was elevate quarterbacks coach Kirk Campbell to be the next offensive coordinator of this program heading into the 2024 season. We talked a little bit about it when the news came out, and I was a massive fan of this move. Not only does Kirk Campbell have a lot of familiarity with what Michigan wants to do on offense, more importantly, Kirk Campbell is a phenomenal quarterback developer. And when you saw him have that chance to call the plays against East Carolina with Sherrone Moore and Jim Harbaugh suspended, you saw a Michigan offense that wanted to go through the quarterback and really allow the quarterback to really have his fingerprints all over that football game. And I think what's fun about Kirk Campbell getting promoted is we've seen Kirk Campbell run this offense, be the play caller for this Michigan team during that 2023 season against East Carolina. Want to dive into the film and talk a little bit about what concepts Kirk Campbell wants to go with and what you're going to see from this Michigan offense in 2024. Really excited to get into this one. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys and a massive shout out to the Michigan fans. Many of you guys know I'm a massive Michigan fan. There is not a program across the country I enjoy talking about more than this Michigan program, and the amount of support the Michigan fans have shown the boys. That stuff truly means the world. We've been breaking down the coaching hires, been talking about the ensuing quarterback battle, something we're going to continue to do over the next couple weeks as spring practice kicks off. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into this one. And I want to start with a little bit of what Michigan did in that 2023 season, then kind of get into the film and talk about what we're going to see from this Michigan offense with Kirk Campbell. And the first thing I want to highlight is it's really no secret what Michigan wants to do on offense, even with Kirk Campbell as the offensive coordinator, and that's run the football, right? That is the culture that this Michigan program has built over the last couple of years. Michigan ran the football 60% of their offensive snaps in 2023. One of the highest numbers in the country next to the military academies who are running that option scheme. And I think the thing that you want to see Michigan kind of go and kind of expand on in the 2024 season is using that run game to stimulate an aggressive passing attack. We don't want to see Michigan lose the ability to run the football and control the line of scrimmage. That is the culture that Michigan has built. That is the culture they just won a national championship with. But a lot of Michigan fans, including myself, want to see using that run game to get that passing attack going. And one of the things that made me scratch my head the most was Michigan's running the football early, often, and they're doing it extremely effectively. But when they go to throw the football, they don't really use play action. Only 23.8% of their dropbacks were going off play action. That's one of the lowest that I've seen across the country. And that, to me, doesn't make much sense. If you're a team that runs the football as much and as effectively as Michigan does, you're going to want to use play action to stimulate that passing attack. And that is one thing that when Kirk Campbell was running that offense against East Carolina, you saw very often in that offense. Getting to some of the film, this is exactly kind of how I see Michigan running this offense, right? 1st and 10, you're a little bit backed up. Obviously, East Carolina thinks Michigan's running the football. You got 12 personnel on the field, and you fire up this play. We're going to go heavy play action. And because Michigan runs the football as much as they do, play action works, right? You see the safety in the box biting. You see both linebackers coming up, getting sucked in, even the nickel defender. And so what does that happen is you have all this turf in the middle of the field to go, to go and operate in. And you continue to roll this play. You see J.J. McCarthy step up, go find that space, and deliver a strike a little bit high. Nice catch by Darius Clemens there. That is kind of to a T what you want to see Michigan do on the offensive side of the football. Against East Carolina, I mean, this concept is kind of littered in the film. You pull up another play here, 2nd and 2, kind of an obvious running situation. You see East Carolina loading the box. We're in 12 personnel. We're actually going heavy set with Trente Jones at that extra offensive lineman spot. And again, we're going to go heavy play action. And what happens again? You're sucking in all of these linebackers, creating a ton of space in that middle of the field for J.J. McCarthy to work and deliver a strike. Hits a guy in Cornelius Johnson in stride, another chunk play on the offense. That is something that we really, as Michigan fans, that's kind of what you want to see, right? When you have the ability to run the football as well as Michigan does, and when you run the football as much as Michigan does, that play action is going to be open very often for this Michigan offense. And again, only having a 23% play action rate during your dropbacks, to me, that number's got to go up in 2024. And I think Kirk Campbell showed that he has the ability to do that. You take a look at JJ's numbers. He went 26 of 30 for 280 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kirk Campbell put a lot of responsibility for JJ McCarthy to go and take over that football game. That's exactly what JJ did. You take a look at the run pass split against East Carolina. It was dead even. 50-50, 31 passes, 31 rushes. That is kind of what we want to see. And again, that's not me getting up here and saying Michigan needs to stop running the football. We just won a national championship running the football like Michigan did. But you take a look at sustained success for Michigan. If you're going to run the football as much and as effectively, you want to work play action into that. And that's exactly what you saw Kirk Campbell do as the offensive coordinator. Another thing that really excites me about Kirk Campbell is how he uses the personnel for this Michigan team. And specifically, a guy like Donovan Edwards. Donovan Edwards was a guy that we had very high hopes for in that 2023 season. Obviously came up big for us against Washington in the national championship game, but didn't get as much work as we kind of wanted him to get in that 2023 season. He's coming back for 2024. What does Donovan Edwards do that really separates him from a lot of other running backs across the country? That is operate in space as a pass catcher. You see right here, first play of the game, we're going to make a concerted effort to get our playmakers the football in space and let them create after the catch. You fire up the film here, you give a little play action, you create a lot of space for a guy like Donovan Edwards to operate in, and this play should be going for 10 to 15 yards. Unfortunately, Roman Wilson doesn't get the block on the perimeter, kind of gets blown up, but you see the amount of space that you got the football to with Donovan Edwards. That is what you want to see. And I think one of the most important things for an offensive coordinator to do is look at the talent that you have on the offensive side of the football and say, hey, we are going to make a concerted effort to utilize that talent in the best way possible, right? You're looking at the skill sets and saying, hey, Donovan Edwards, elite pass catcher, very good in space. We're going to make a concerted effort to get him the football as a pass catcher in space. Kirk Campbell, he absolutely did that against East Carolina. Donovan Edwards had 4 catches for over 35 yards against East Carolina that week 1 game. That's how we want to see Michigan run this offense. The last thing that kind of stands out to me is creating easy reads for that Michigan quarterback. And again, why am I so excited about Kirk Campbell taking over this job is he is a quarterback-friendly offensive coordinator. And I'm not necessarily saying Sherrone Moore wasn't, but Sherrone Moore wasn't a quarterback's coach. He was an offensive lines coach. So you take a look at Sherrone Moore and the perspective he has calling the offense, it's kind of coming from that offensive line point of view. We want to run the football. We want to be bullies. Kirk Campbell, as a quarterback's coach, is much more centered around the quarterback and creating easy reads. And you see that on the film as well. You fire up another piece of this film, these layered concepts where you're allowing JJ to have easy reads. And what you're going to see here is a nice little layered concept where you fire this film up. We're going to run someone into the flat. And basically the read, I think, is if this guy crashes down on Donovan Edwards in the flat, you're going to have someone right layered over top of him that you open up a throwing window. And that's exactly JJ McCarthy sees that defender kind of squeeze down on Donovan Edwards, create that throwing lane, and JJ throws an absolute strike to the boundary to Colson Loveland, a guy that I think is going to be truly special for Michigan in that 2024 year. You fire up another play, very similar concept. You're going to motion Cornelius Johnson, basically have just kind of a stack set right here. Very similar idea, right? We're going to run some layers here. We're going to have Cornelius run kind of short. We're going to have Roman Wilson go to that pylon. And your read is kind of this guy. And if he crashes on Cornelius, you're throwing to Roman in the end zone. And that's kind of exactly what you have. And this is an absolute strike by JJ. Small throwing window, throws it right where Roman needs it for an easy touchdown. That's the type of stuff that we want to see Michigan go to in that 2024 season. And what excites me most about Kirk Campbell is I think how Kirk Campbell runs this offense. He's a guy that wants to be quarterback friendly. How can we make the game the easiest for the quarterback? Easy reads, the ball's coming out quick. And that's what you saw from the Kirk Campbell offense against East Carolina. I think 2 things that I think I'm most excited for in terms of Michigan's offense in 2024 is one, the blend between Sherrone Moore and Kirk Campbell, right? Sherrone Moore calling the plays in 2023, it was very run heavy. That is no secret. We've talked about that a lot. You inject Kirk Campbell into the offense, and you're still going to have the Sherrone Moore fingerprints, right? You're still going to be running the football. You got a talented talented running back room. You got a very good offensive line. You're going to see Michigan run the football, but I think Kirk Campbell comes into this offensive play calling room and say, hey, we're going to allow this quarterback to really attack down the field. If we have a good run game, there are things that we can do to make a Michigan quarterback have an easier time pushing the ball down the field. I think that's what Kirk Campbell brings. I expect a little bit more balance in between the run and the pass for Michigan in 2024. And I expect this offense not only in 2024, but for the next couple of years to have an offense that, hey, we're going to ask the quarterback to do a little bit more, and we're going to put them in good spots to deliver strikes down the field. I'm really excited for the Kirk Campbell offense. I think he did a lot of good things against East Carolina, and I think the promotion to him to offensive coordinator made a lot of sense for this Michigan team. Really excited for it. We'll continue to talk about it. We got a lot to talk about with that quarterback battle that's going to be kicking off in spring practice. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.